Yes. Okay, the chain came undone, but it worked, baby. So a while back, I had this idea, and the idea kind of started with me always like using my bicycle to get around the city. But I kind of wanted to have one of those laying down bicycles, and I thought like I could potentially like make that myself with my printer and do a couple of things. And then I found out that the electrical components will only cost like 600 euros or something. And I had a couple of like digital twinning jobs where I was making stuff for people. So I was thinking, why not, instead of like using my pedals and pedaling around, why not use like electrical motors and build the car, you know? So I started off 3D designing the models for it, I think in 2019, so damn near like 6 7 years ago now. And that kind of became more and more of something that I wanted to realize. And as soon as I kind of got to the point where more of the digital twin jobs were coming in, I thought, hey, remember that design that I had in 2019? Now it's 2023. Let's actually go start and build it. So on January 10th, 2023, I actually started building this car. And I started in Oscom, which is like a couple of doors down from us where we're right now. So it's also kind of like a full circle moment to kind of come back here and do that. But I wanted to take you guys through the car project in general and also show like a status update of where we are right now. And then also on the end of the video, I'm also going to work on it and see if we can actually get it to drive a little bit. And not like fully drive, I'm just going to make it go in like a straight direction. And it already worked, so I'm pretty confident that it will, but I think it's still fun to do it for the video now for the first time with two electrical motors. The last time it only drove on the right rear, but now I kind of want to do it where there's like all of them, all the motors coming together. So to take you also through the project, it's kind of started with the frame, and the first thing, it was already like delayed by 4 months because the person that was going to help me out kind of became ill in that time period. So the frame didn't come together like damn near at the end of me also being at Oscom for the duration that I had. So that was kind of like one of the first hiccups that I had in the process. But then the frame came, then I need to change locations, and then the next location I had wasn't like fully equipped. I didn't have like all the printers. Also didn't always have all of the budget, and you know, this thing even like financially put me in debt, like in ways that I can't explain. But I still kind of feel like, you know, everything that it kind of also allowed me to do with projects that it kind of got me, and showcasing people what is kind of possible with this technology was still worth it for me to do it. And I still also, with my next coming plans, and once it actually drives, I feel like it will be worth the investment. But you know, I went through a couple of stages when it came through also getting it to drive, you know, because first the motors that I had weren't set up this way. I can also like take my phone, I guess, and show it to you a little bit more in detail. The motors that I had weren't like set up this way. I previously had like between the rear wheels, I would have like a gearbox set up where there was like directly a motor sitting right here with the shaft kind of going through it, through the wheels, and with like a 3D printed gearbox and everything. But I just decided that it would be far better to actually have the drivetrain with all steel components, so the chain and drive and everything is set up that way. Also, we switched from using these type of lead battery cells, which are like 35 kilos, I think, so damn near like 80 pounds. We switched to having these lithium ion cells, which weigh maybe like, I want to say 1.5 kilos per battery, so 3 kilos. So that's damn near like a 90% weight reduction in battery capacity. So we kind of changed those. And also, we used to have those hand throttles. I can grab one real quick, and you would need to like accelerate using the hand throttle. So I cut the wiring and everything out and rewired it to a position where there is now like one signal going from the throttle pedal. So if you now hit your foot pedal, then actually sends a signal to both of the computer control units for the motors to start rotating. And also this one has a switch to kind of reverse the rotation, so they now turn in the same direction, even though they're kind of like opposed from each other. So that was also like a little bit of a process figuring out how to do the wiring and everything. But now, if I hit the pedal, um, if you can see it like me hitting like the pedal and then starting the rotation of the wheels. So you can see now that it's operational. Also with the drive shaft, because what that drive shaft is kind of doing and how it's made, it's very makeshift. And please don't do this at home, because this is only like for testing purposes, because I couldn't find like an actual drive shaft for the size of vehicle. These parts come off of a go-kart, but go-karts don't have independent rear suspension, so they just have like a solid axle. So I need to figure out like how to make one. So this is basically like U joints from like a Toyota steering system with like some small steel tubing. This is like a 10 millimeter pipe fitting into a 12 millimeter pipe, but with that it kind of has some play in it, you know. So there's kind of, you know, it's not like the ideal situation to kind of have this much play in your drive shaft. So I'm still I already ordered the CNC components that it actually fits in very precise, you know, because now also to kind of keep these steel things centered, I have these 3D printed plastic components that are kind of keeping them in position, but that is not like, you know, the way it's kind of supposed to be. So that is still to be done. Also, these wishbones are going in on the front because the front is just way too low right now. So they actually are going to support to replace these lower wishbones and have like a higher mounting point when it comes to the suspension pickle point. So that will kind of raise the ride height of the car. And I still also need to bleed the brakes and attach them to the discs, because we have small like motorcycle like hand pedals, but you can also see like the leaking fluids and everything. So every time you kind of hit the throttle or hit the brake, I should say, there's like this mechanism that is attached to these hand brakes off of a bicycle. But then, you know, we kind of figure out a method of 3D printing like a vice that's kind of squeezing them together and everything. Also, the 3D printed steering rack is still kind of functioning. So also, if I turn the wheel that way, you can kind of see like the whole system in place. So that needs to be connected to the steering wheel right here. And then we also have steering, we have braking, and we have throttle. And as soon as that has happened, then we can take all of these body panels and assemble them back to the car. Also, this is the seat. And I'm working also a little bit on an experiment of seeing if I can make TPU 3D printed cushions. So I think that's pretty cool actually. And also here, because I had kind of like different materials, you can kind of feel like the pink being like a softer shore hardness TPU, which kind of works very well compared to the other ones. So the pink section is actually like the material shore hardness that we need to do it. But that has also been a pretty cool experiment to kind of building the chair that way. And then we're gonna get to the final stages of actually like assembling everything. But that is also what we're looking for, you know. Like as you can see here, we have a couple of the large scale Elegoo printers going also on a couple of the body panels. This is for the hood right now that is printing. But I was hoping to continue to just get more and more printers. This one has some problems, isn't printing right. We have like a P1P. That one has like an issue when it comes to the micro SD card reader. This one I need to change like a sensor to it. That's for the plate, the bed leveling. This one is working fine. This is an amazing A1 Bamboo Lab and an amazing P1P Bamboo Lab. So these ones are all like connected and making a bunch of like cool stuff. Now all of the 3D prints that we made are here because we had to kind of clear out the store. But you know, we still have a bunch of things in the store that are very cool and that I can't wait to kind of, you know, do and expand and also, you know, build way more projects out with it. But as far as right now, that is kind of where the car stands, you know. It's been like 3 years in the making already with all of these systems. But I'm actually feeling like we're actually getting close now. So what I'm gonna do is I will actually attach. I need to cut out one more um, axle to go through the center of this. So that is this square tube that I need to cut out at the appropriate size and length. And then I will stick it right through the hub and then attach it like so through the wheel. And then this will kind of squeeze the wheel also in place, you know. And that's kind of like how this setup is already right here. And that's how we can kind of allow it to rotate and transmit the power through to the chain and everything, you know. So Everything just came together this way. It's been a very crazy process. Also, the rear suspension, I recently changed it because usually I would have this wishbone as the lower wishbone, and then have the drive shaft go like right between the two suspension arms, and then have them attached not at this higher point, but then kind of between the wishbone on the top right here. But now I kind of have way more space to kind of incorporate and play and attach stuff. So also for packaging and building and assembling purposes, that was a very good strategy to use. But yeah, let me now try to actually attach the final drive shaft and everything, and then we'll see if we can take it for not a spin but a straight line. Understand? They say why. You tell them that it's human nature. Let me know. Nothing even know. I'm not living this way. I got no steering. I got no brakes. I'm just taking it real slow. Woo! Yes. Okay, the chain came undone, but it worked, baby. Woo! Yeah. I'm so excited right now. This is fucking crazy. Like I actually was able to drive it for a little bit. The shaft did came undone. So again, this drive shaft right here broke off. I think it only happened on the one side though, and I have tested it a couple of times, so I actually was able to get in it. Now I'm so happy right now. This is crazy. It's actually sitting there fully push. If the axle is solid, it feels like it has some torque. It wants to go, but I need to like even find like a smaller percentage to give it throttle because it is already kind of at speed already. Woo! Nah, I feel pumped. I'm gassed. I'm super gassed. I'm gonna take a break. And I'm gonna make sure that all of this kind of that I can do this on a big scale with all of the components and parts that I need to actually perform it in a crazy way. But this already got me hyped. Okay, I'm gonna go home. My girlfriend gonna be mad at me that I was out this long, but this is what we're doing right here, building a mother car, bro.